134,000 employees at IBM get a major talking to. Welcome to Money Beat. I'm Michael Casey, in today for Paul Vigna. IBM Chief Executive Virginia Rometty delivering a rare company-wide reprimand in a 5-minute internal video message. The Wall Street Journal's Corporate Assistant Bureau Chief watched that video firsthand and joins us now to tell us what Ms. Rometty is admonishing the IBM masses to do. Spencer Anti, welcome.
Hi.
So, yeah, quite a talking to, and we should say this came after results last week, which I suppose were a little disappointing. What did she have to say?
Actually, the results were very disappointing. IBM has been like a predictable machine on Wall Street. It's actually met Wall Street earnings expectations for 31 straight quarters. It failed to do that in the most recent quarter last week, and so it's triggering a bit of a shakeup at the company. And yesterday they reassigned their hardware chief.
Just sort of see there,
yeah,
the stock
plunged
dropped
9% in one day, which is a very big move for a very stable stock like IBM. And so, as part of the shakeup, Ginny Rometty, the CEO, who's been in the job for about a little more than a year now, she sometimes will tape these messages after earnings, and it's usually like a pep talk. But this time, because the numbers were so bad, it was more of a reprimand and a sort of chastisement of the company in certain cases. And so she was saying that the company moves too slowly at times and there's too much bureaucracy and process. And so, for example, she instituted a new rule. She said, from now on, starting now, if a client has a request or a comment or a question, expectation, IBM must respond within 24 hours.
Can they live up to it? It's a question, I suppose.
Yeah,
exactly. They did talk about, she blamed the miss in terms of the results on how slow they were actually responding to some big orders that never got filled, right? That's part of the problem here.
Yes. In fact, she even called out a specific engagement. She said there was a major retail client that had a big software deal they were working on, and they didn't understand the value of it enough quickly, and they didn't engage on the approval and sign-off process quickly enough, so the deal slipped.
Right. Now, but there's a different angle here that you think, there's a number of analysts who think that IBM, in fact, is perhaps caught in something bigger than this, right? There's a structural change they're having to deal with. I think it's interesting. This is a company that had to turn on a dime, and for some respects, it's very successful in transforming itself from being obviously a PC-related business to one that was all about services and business. And now that business model itself is being challenged by developments in cloud computing. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Right. So there's a sort of growing debate on Wall Street over what is plaguing IBM and other big tech companies. One school of thought says that this cloud computing trend is maybe the cause of it, because in cloud computing, companies, instead of buying expensive systems from software hardware consultants from IBM, they rent computing power and they rent software for much more cheaper cost from, say, an Amazon.com or a Google. And that, they say, will eventually impact the growth of a company like IBM. IBM does not acknowledge that. IBM believes that it's an execution problem, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that debate evolves. IBM is going to have to get back on track and deliver earnings consistently for a few more quarters before they get out of the penalty box, because they're sort of in the penalty box now.
Any reaction from the employees to Ms. Rometty's admonishment?
Yeah, I actually heard from one employee today who said that there's been a mixed reaction to the video, and that some people believe, to your point, that it's not so much the poor execution as actually in bureaucracy at the company and like internal process that prevents people from moving more quickly. So maybe there might be some more changes around that. We'll see.
Fascinating stuff, Spencer. Thanks very much. We'll watch this story with great interest as it goes forward. Thanks so much.